I think we're good.
You sure?
We're live.
Are we live?
You want to check the door quick or no?
The door.
The front door.
Should I run and go get that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, so you can just walk in.
It's unlocked.
Okay. Yeah. If you
I'll
say
bet.
it's unlocked,
I'll bet the
trust you.
$10.
I don't got money to bet right now.
You have $10 to bet.
Mm-mm.
It's probably better for the better.
So
I need that $10 to watch the Flash movie. So
Are you going to movie night?
not tonight.
It's
but
I'm about to say you're gonna go on Tuesday when it's cheap.
Yeah.
On the Tuesday at noon when it's cheap.
Noon
Yeah,
cheap?
that's like a $5 movie night. He got enough money for a movie and maybe a snack. One.
No,
It's expensive out here.
I mean, yeah, it's not from 7-Eleven. I'll smuggle it in. Yeah.
That is crazy.
All right, how you want to start it, T?
Right there with you.
You gonna cut off
We up.
anyway, right?
Nah, it's fun.
Huh?
Oh, you edit it or you just?
No, we
you
keeping
just
that.
live it?
It's fun. I
Okay.
like that stuff. It's a fun way to start it. I start it every time like that.
time
Every
like
single
that.
time like
So
this.
we're gonna find a spot to start it. So we're gonna get started right now. You ready?
Nice.
What up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Athletes Vision, where this platform is used to help tell and help guide the untold stories of athletes chasing their dreams in the world of sports. I am Mike Nunley. Our guest today.
I'm Saketh.
And my name is Tyler Benson. And on these episodes, we're going to dive deep into, in particular, your life today, but all the athletes that we have on here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just give a quick shout out before we start the episode to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have it on, this goes live every Monday at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
on all platforms. So make sure you're tuned in. Cool? All right.
So we're gonna really
welcome.
get started, man. So welcome, Saketh.
Thank you for having
You know what I mean? Hey, it's a pleasure, man. But we're gonna switch it up a little bit, man. You the third guest that we have fourth guest.
Fourth.
Yeah, man.
Number four.
We're making headway,
Hey,
man.
you doing
So you're the fourth, student athlete, that's on the actual, podcast today. So we're gonna start a little different, man. Today, what's up, man? Just have a conversation, man. Talk to me. What's going on? with you, man?
I'm just chilling, trying to figure out what I want to do in life, figure out exactly like how I want to do it.
Okay.
Are we getting deep off
I
rip?
mean,
Off
yeah.
rip. That's
Oh,
how
we
we
getting deep
going?
off rip. All right.
Okay, so man, like
He
give
said
us-
it's tough questions.
All right, tough questions. Yeah, he did.
I'm
He
ready.
prepped us with some tough questions.
No tough questions, man. Just life questions.
Yet.
Right? So what we're gonna do, man? Honestly, man, just dive in, man. Like this platform is used for you to be able to express, your journey, man, in the world of sports, and also in life. So I mean, just give us a little bit about your background on how you got started in sports, and how did it pretty much guide you to where you're at today.
I mean, I first started off playing tennis, I would say about kindergarten. Then I translated to basketball around like 5th grade, but I don't think I was like really good up until 7th grade. And that was 2 years after I met him, and he helped me get to that level. I never thought I would be able to like play at a high level, but he helped me with that.
How tall were you back in kindergarten?
Kindergarten, I don't know. 5th grade, I would say 5'8", maybe 5'7". I was about his height. I was definitely taller than him.
That's
Because
crazy.
when he coached me in 5th grade, I was definitely taller than him.
Right?
So maybe
Yo,
like
he immediately at your neck,
This
bro.
what we doing?
It's Short King Spring, don't you know, bro?
I'm gonna be
This
honest.
what we doing?
I'ma
It's
be
just
honest.
coming at me.
Hey, you being honest at least.
All right, but I can take that. So so with tennis, man, so what made you, get into tennis? When you say you started in kindergarten, but you made that transition before you get to
Yeah.
basketball. What made you, make that, what made you want to play tennis?
Well, if you want me to be honest, I never was like super into tennis. I was just naturally like good at it. And I remember my parents would always like, they wouldn't force me to play,
I got you.
but they would just like send me to camps and stuff.
Okay.
And I would just like naturally just like
So
be
pick up
good.
on it.
I just picked up on it like pretty quick.
That's tough.
That's
That's tough.
not bad at all, man. So like, it's funny because I mean, I wish I could play tennis, right? Tennis is
Yeah.
it's
It's
everybody out there that play tennis. I took my head to you the same way I told T Benson before. Like you run track, man, it's different, right? So
Yeah.
those are two different type of sports, man. So
Bro, people sleep on the lateral movement in tennis,
Right.
bro. That's all you do. Me, ran track. I had zero lateral movement, but there's It's very tough.
yeah, so you got. So we're gonna lead into that. So even though you just had a natural gift, you stopped playing.
I
right?
stopped playing.
I mean, was it because you just didn't have the love for it like that and stuff like that?
I kind of like wanted the team aspect of a game
Okay, I got you.
instead of that one-on-one like aspect.
Okay, so that's when you made a transition
Yeah.
over to basketball. So, so before we get into like when we met and stuff like that, because you started playing basketball, who did you start like working with? At first in basketball.
I worked with Evolution was the first place I worked. It was
Okay.
Coach John. He was just primarily like a shooting coach.
Mm-hmm.
Before I met him, like I had a pretty smooth jump shot, but like my mechanics like weren't off. I could put the ball in the basket.
Okay.
But he was probably the first person that really showed me like the mechanics of like the art of like a jump shot.
Okay. I mean, that's where it gets started, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of different, developmental coaches out here that's trying to help guide people, right? And guide athletes, give them the tools that they got to be able to use, at that sport at hand, right? So that's cool, man. So, like, so with that being said, now you make that transition, you get out there in that team aspect, right?
Yeah.
So now you're ready to start playing in 5-on-5, right?
Yeah.
So you made that, so you started off playing like rec ball, right? So you was with Chantilly and rec ball. So give that journey before we touching base into like your travel journey and stuff like that.
So I first picked up a basketball in 3rd grade, and actually the story is one of my neighbors a couple doors down, her mom told us about the Chantilly Youth Association, which is like our rec league. And before that, I've never like played basketball. That was the first time I picked up a basketball and I played, but I had no idea like what was going on. Like I could put the ball in the basket like if I was close to the basket, but like as a team aspect, I had no idea like what I was doing.
That's crazy.
So it's funny because like for me, those are the athletes that I go after, right? Because I want them to understand that it's something that we can help you with if you got a love for it, right? And it's tough to find some athletes that just have zero clue, of that sport at first, but once you get into it, they start to learn it, start to dive into it, right? And that's where I think that you became a little different at, right? For me, I think you became different. So with that, now you get into talk about like your rec league first, how you made the transition over to travel, because you started playing travel ball in 5th grade as well, right?
Yeah. So in 5th grade during the winter, I tried out for travel. We had like an A team, B team, C team. But the thing is, you have to go to 2 tryouts to make like any one of the teams. I had no intentions of like playing like at that level, so I went to 1 tryout just to see where I was, and I was goofing around too, like blowing layups like on purpose to like so I wouldn't make a team.
Yo, that's crazy.
And one of the C team coaches, I still remember him, Coach Enders. He sent my dad an email and he was like, "I'll pick up your son like on the C team. We're just gonna say that he was sick because we still want him on the team." And that was the first time I started playing competitive basketball, I would say.
That's crazy. But didn't even want to be on the team.
No, I didn't. I just wanted to play.
And he
I just
still
wanted to
made
play
it,
rec.
right?
I just
Yeah.
wanted to play rec.
Yeah.
So why did you just want to play rec? But why? What was the why that said, you know what, I don't really want to get out here and compete at that level. I just want to be the best. That's what it was, or you just wanted to have fun?
I just wanted to have fun. But also another thing going into it was I knew one of my best friends still to this day, Anthony Smith. He had the same intention of me. We wanted to be on the same rec team. We didn't like ever think that we'd ever be on like the same travel team. But he made the A team, I made the C team, and then I'll talk about next year as that comes up.
Yeah, so like it's funny. So now we dive into it. So Saketh and I actually met when he was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Right. So he was 10 years old when we met, and the way I met him was through the Smaders.
Yeah.
Right. So through Evan. Evan Smader. Evan. Try to get you on here one day, man.
You too,
love your
Brett.
kid, Brett. That's my guy, man. Both of them. That family is a great family, man. I love them to death. And without them, this is when the connection and stuff started with us, right? Without them, we probably would have never like really met like that, right? So before you get there, like when you came in and now you on a travel team, you made that travel team that switch. It was all about just having fun. But when you made the C team, right, and then Anthony made the A team, how did that make you feel?
At the time, I didn't really feel some type of way, but like as we started playing games, like at the C team level and he was at the A team level, like I wanted to work up to that A team level, and I didn't think I had it in me, but Coach Enders like gave me this type of confidence that like I can never forget in my life. Like he trusted me with everything, and that's all I could ask for at the time.
So and that's the thing, man. So like that's what certain coaches know how to do, right? They know how to come in and help instill that confidence in young men that don't really know the game, right? Don't really know the game of basketball at that level, right? So that's what Coach Enders, man, because it's funny because he gave me my shot.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
That's
saying?
why I bring
like,
his name
it's
up
the
along.
craziest thing, man. Like he gave me my shot, right? Came in, every league out there didn't want me to coach, right? They was like, nah, you don't have a son? I said, nah, I don't have a son. I just want to coach basketball, man. They was like, no, we got this dad coach. And so Steve Kansakis,
Yeah,
Coach
Katsakos.
Coach Kasakos, he actually gave me a shot too, right? But leads into that, and it's funny because I'm gonna have T Benson like really dive in on you before we get into like our journey, right? So now you make that switch to get over, right? So Anthony is doing his thing, right? He's up there competing. Now you competing, right? And now Coach John, your mom, all of them, your dad was just like, we need something more.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when it switched over when I got introduced to you, right? So
that was after that first season on the C
after
team.
that first season on
Yeah.
the C team, right? And then what was your goal once you met me? Because you knew nothing about me, right? You knew nothing about me, right?
Yeah.
And when we met, I was actually your coach.
Yeah. So I had like no intentions. I didn't know who he was at the time or anything about that. But like we tell this story so many times. But the first practice, I went in like I'm thinking like I'm the guy. I know Anthony's like the guy on the team too. I'm like, all right, we're not losing. And Coach Mike, like at the time, I didn't realize it, but he's like challenging me. Like it's like small mind games, and like this goes such a long way, and it still sticks with me. Like
He does it all the
like
time.
till now. But it's like these small mind games that like at the time I'm in 5th grade, like I don't really know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the story I'm gonna say, it's like we were scrimmaging to start, something like that, and I shot a 3. And it's like in 5th grade, like you're not supposed to shoot 3s, and in 5th grade there's no 3-point line. There's a 3-point line, but you don't get 3 points for making it from there. So I shot a 3 and I missed it. And then he was like, "Why are you shooting it from out there?" I'm like, "I can make that shot." He gave me 3 tries.
Three tries.
Three tries to make one, and I don't think I made a single one from there. But I had like the strength to put the ball in the basket. Like in my head, I could make that shot.
Yeah.
But it was these small mind games where he's like, "What you doing? Like, why are you shooting that?"
And it's funny that he says that because at the time, Saketh was taller than me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then our team, we had him and another kid that was around his height, Adi.
Adi, yeah.
So
One of my
Adi,
neighbors.
yeah, Adi was around his height, right? And I'm like, I think you can beat people under the basket right now. I know you can shoot that. That's a perk. I said, reward yourself by beating people under the basket, right? So, and that what leads into like for me and TB because we wanted to challenge, every individual at that age, right? So now, like we end up getting into our journey, right, TB? Yeah. So it's funny, like, because Saketh not only was one of the best shooters that I have ever seen at that age, he was also became one of the smartest basketball players. So tap in on that, right? So because now you're in 5th grade and we challenging each other, right? Every practice, right? Coach Dennis, man, love you, get man. That was our guy, man. Coach Dennis came in. He was one of the reasons why I started, at Chantilly coaching as well because of his brother-in-law, right? Brother-in-law was on the team. His mother-in-law.
Oh, I forget his name.
Rashawn.
Yeah.
Rashawn was on the team. So that was our team, right? So and it's a quick story. Our team. So the year before that, you'll laugh at this, TB. The year before that, we put a team together. Like it wasn't that talented of a team, but they worked hard. Right? Jaden was our little.
Jaden. Goggles.
Jaden had goggles. He didn't miss accessories. He had
all
everything. So he ended up coming in. You're gonna laugh. He ended up coming in, man, and ended up doing whatever we asked.
He accepted his role.
Accepted his role.
Accepted his role pretty quick.
And then we end up going 12-4 that first year. Now I get to draft my team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No idea. Like my nephew's out there, Anthony's out there. Like I wasn't, Anthony's like, yeah, I'm on the A team. I said, all right, cool. He went in the tryouts, missing shots.
The thing with that is we went to tryouts together and we were talking about playing bad so we could like play with other good players.
Yo, that's
because we knew we were gonna play together regardless. We're like, man, we can get like a 3rd superstar.
That's
it was
tough.
it was like LeBron.
What
Wade,
grade
and
was
Bosh.
this?
5th grade.
That's tough.
Like, we were like that. Like about like at that.
We
level.
on the deal. I like
they
that.
was doing,
Yeah, I like that.
They knew
Yeah.
it, so because it was a complete draft.
Yeah. That's
It
tough.
was a
Great.
complete
That's tough.
draft. So we drafted everybody's name, and Saketh actually got drafted by another team. Right.
I met the coach that drafted me.
Yeah.
He played basketball at Chantilly.
So he got drafted by another team, and then I drafted Anthony, but Anthony fell to the 2nd round. Shouldn't have. He fell to the 2nd round. So I drafted him first as my first pick. They was like, why would you draft somebody in the 2nd round? I said, I have no idea my game plan. Right? They best friends. They haven't read the report that they play together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we did that. And then I made a deal with his current coach. I said, hey, look, man, I'll give you Anthony, but you got to give me your 2nd, your 3rd, your 4th, and 5th round draft pick. He said, I can't do that.
He was a high school kid.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I was like, I can't give you nobody else. He's like, how about I give you Saketh, and you give me your 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Mind games, baby.
That's what I said.
Yeah, 100%.
He took them all. So we ended up getting on the team, and then that's where the journey started. So, but yeah, man, just dive into, some of the challenges it was facing from going to a C team in travel, and then 6th grade making the A team. Give me that comparison.
So in 5th grade, when I was on the C team, I think me and Coach Katako's son Steven made the all-league team. And as soon as that happened, Coach Enders shot an email to the head coach of the A team at the time, Coach Lee. He's like, these 2 kids do not belong on the C team. You have to give them an actual chance to play on the A team.
They're back on.
And then going into tryouts 6th grade year, I wasn't too focused on basketball, but I just like started working out with Coach Mike, like training on the side. I wasn't training with Coach John at Evolution anymore, and it was just him. We trained at Mason, like at the field house. So. And I wasn't like I said, I wasn't too focused on it. But the thing is, it's like I had like the heart, and at that time I was watching NBA basketball, so I was picking up on like these small like game reads and these habits.
Correct.
I look back at it now, and it's like it helps a lot. Like just watching the game from like an outside view helps a lot.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna need you to say that again, because I know we both coach.
Yep.
I'm at Falk here coaching girls soccer, and he's over at
Brentsville
Brentsville.
District High School basketball men's team.
And man, I tell you, because I coach girls, and I tell them like, you need to watch the game. You need to watch the game at the professional level.
Yeah.
Because like once you start picking up on those things.
They're pros for a reason. There's a lot you can pick up from their game.
100%. So study, be a student of the game. I tell people that all the time.
I mean, that's what it is. Be a student.
There's a lot of small details that go into like every decision in the game. It's not just a game. Like there's a lot of like I said, mind games that go into it. You have to think about everything you're doing.
Yeah. So you're a very analytical player.
I'm still a very analytical person
to this
in my
day.
life.
Yeah.
And that's also like a lot because of him. Like with the mind games and like
So it's funny because he talked about the mind games. I challenged him.
that's what I said. Like at first I was like, it's a challenge, but you don't realize it. Like you just
he didn't know
ambitious.
It. They didn't know it. So because like I wanted Saketh to be better than just a shooter. I wanted him to be known more than just a shooter, right? Because he went from the C team to the A team.
But the funny thing with that is when I went from there, I wasn't on the team because I was a shooter. I was on the team because it was my defense that like got me playing
his
time.
defense. You see what I'm saying? Like, Saketh was by far the best shooter, right?
Yeah.
Other people might try to argue, at the time because this team they had some shooters. They had some shooters, and all of those guys, man, a lot of respect for those families, but I knew the type of player that Saketh was, right? And is, right? So now he makes that transition from the C
to the A team.
To the A team. Give us a little background on how that switch happened. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like I said, I didn't really feel like I balled out at tryouts, but the coaches saw something in me, which was the defensive aspect. And I remember the first couple practices, to be honest, I didn't feel like I belonged. I feel like I could compete at that level, but I didn't feel like I could play at that level. That's two different things. So I feel like I could practice with those guys, but I didn't feel like in a game I would be able to help them out, like when I was on the court with them. And I remember we had 2 games, and I didn't play much. Like I think you're required to play like 2 minutes a half at that age, like 2 or 3 minutes a half. So I played like here and there, but I wasn't really doing much when I was on the court. And we had a Thanksgiving tournament. I still remember it to this day. We're playing Vienna, and we switched to a 2-3 zone. Coach Lee had it was called Monster. It was a monster call out. We ran that zone for like 3 years, but.
Monster.
But yeah, he'd be like monster. But I was in the middle, and I remember Vienna had this dude. He was like a man child. Like in 6th grade, like he was built like he was like in the 10th or 11th grade. And our starting center at the time, his name was Alec. He was in foul trouble, so they put me back in. And I wasn't like a backup center or anything. I was like the backup 3, backup 4. And I remember just like working my ass off just to front him, and that got me so much playing time, like so much respect. And then that like led to me as like we got to the playoffs. Now I was like a starter, like becoming like getting more opportunities to put the ball in the basket. Like now they're calling plays for me. Like they understand that I'm more than just a defensive player. But it's like you have to do the small things first in order to like do that later.
I don't think you understand what you just tapped on, right?
100%.
So because you said something that a lot of people are afraid to admit, right? And what you said was, I didn't think I belonged.
Yeah.
Right? But you knew what you had to do, right? To be able to stay, be able to fit.
You got to take advantage. I was given an opportunity. Correct. I got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So the opportunity that was given was a minute.
Yeah.
Minute or 2, right? So every second count, right? So speak on that, because a lot of young athletes out here, you give them a minute in the game and they feel like, and then you take them out and they be like, what did you take me out the game for? And then you try to explain to them, but they don't want that explanation.
Yeah.
They want it because they go, you didn't play me enough, right? So speak on that. So you knew right there the conversation. What conversations did you have with Coach Lee before we get into when I coached you? When you played for Coach Lee, what was those conversations like?
I always asked him like, what can I do better to like earn more playing time? And he'd be like, oh, like sometimes like put the ball in the basket, stuff like this. But like all that stuff doesn't happen like overnight. So it's like with those extra minutes I'm getting, like even if it's 30 extra seconds, like say I like get a rebound, I kick it out, we get an outlet and get a free basket in transition like before the half ends. Like that's a big momentum like changing play. And even though it's only 6th grade, like I would like take those into aspect. because it's like I watch NBA basketball. It's like 2-for-1s. It's like now they're doing 3-for-2s. It's like all of this stuff like matters, and that goes back to what TB was saying about like you gotta watch the game to really understand it. Like the professionals do it the best. Like that's why they're at the top.
It's crazy. Student of the game.
Yeah.
Like he keeps spinning it. Like, again,
true
I want
student.
y'all to keep in mind. Like, again, 5th and 6th grader right
Yeah.
now. Like
True student,
thinking like
man.
this, right?
True student.
And so like I feel like so everybody has their different ways that they can make it to the upper level,
Yeah.
right? Like some people are gifted.
Yeah.
Some people
just
work
athletically.
just
demons.
gifted, right?
Mhm.
Some people work unbelievably hard, like Kobe style, right?
Yeah.
Some people pick the game apart. Like you
Yeah.
picked the game apart. You knew exactly what you needed to do to get you where you needed to go in 6th grade.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, you picking the game apart. Now we go over into AAU season.
Yeah.
So it's funny because
Like, here we go again.
so we go into AAU and he said, "Hey, coach," I said, "What's up? I need you to go to my tryout with me."
Yeah.
So he's like, "Let's go." So he go over to Nova. Nova 94, right?
Yeah.
Nova 94. He's over there, and he's like, "Coach, I want you to sit in here with me and let me know what I need to do, so you know I don't think that I'm gonna be on the A team, but I know I can make one of the teams." And I was like, "I mean, let's go." So we go in there, and at the time I wasn't coaching AAU, right? And then I ended up getting an opportunity to coach. As soon as he went to tryout, I got an offer to be an assistant coach.
Yeah.
For Chantilly.
With Coach Katakos.
Coach Katakos,
Yeah,
yeah.
my
So
C team coach.
Correct. His seat, I got an opportunity, right? Opportunity came, and he was like, "Hey, we need to keep all those kids," and I was just like, "It's not my choice." You know, it's
Yeah.
not my choice. Now,
Yep.
I could have forced every kid to come play for me at that time.
Yeah.
You know, it was him, Chris Myers, you know, Devin Harper. All these boys was like, they was really, really solid in the 6th grade. So y'all go to the tryouts, and Saketh gets out there, right? Then explain that tryout process, knowing that it was guys that from Falls Church,
Yeah,
Annandale, you know.
There was a bunch of guys out there that I feel like could play like at the same level I did, but I feel like playing with them at that level like pushed my game up just naturally without thinking about it. Like I just competed with them, and it's like when you play with guys that are good around you, it's like you play better too. So it's like now I got these guards where it's like I can just get a rebound, kick it out to them. We're playing 3-on-3 half court, set a screen, pop, and they have the IQ to hit me on that screen. Now I'm in my spots. So with those tryouts, I still remember. Like I'm gonna shout out Chase. He was wearing his Heat. He's a big Heat fan.
Hey.
They lost the finals, but
Hey, me too, Chase. That's why you my dog. Hey, Chase, we're gonna get you on here as well. You know.
he was wearing his LeBron jersey at the time, and I still remember it was me, Chase, and Taj, and we were playing threes, and we ran the court for like 45 minutes, and I didn't know Taj or Chase before that, like at
Correct.
all.
Correct. And that's how it happens,
Yeah.
right? So you end up getting this type of chemistry that was built from guys that you don't know because of the IQ of basketball. And that was the difference with, you know, being coaching in Chantilly and coaching with Nova 94, you was able to get those type of kids that different level, right? It was a lot of different levels that you had. So, and that's what I was trying to bring, right? It's gonna be funny because I'm gonna make a crazy comparison with what I'm trying to do at Brentsville, right? I'm ready to try to what I did with Chantilly is what I'm trying to do for Brentsville. Just bear with me, right? So I sat in the car with Saketh, all right? And I said, "Hey, you can go play with Nova this year, but I'm coming to get you next year."
This year, yeah.
Right?
I still remember that call.
Correct. And he looked at me and he go, "Okay, coach." So tap in on that, right? So now you had this whole year. I was at every game to try to make every game that you played.
Yeah.
And tap in on that AAU season that year before we go into like that.
So that 6th grade year, we had I think 11 or 12 guys on our team, and there was no like we were all so like even, like we had 2-point guards, 2 shooting guards, like 2 of everything, and like everyone at that position like literally played like the same way. Like I remember the guy I was playing with at the 3 or 4 Kunal, we both were like 3-and-D like sharpshooters. So it's like literally like with the minutes in that season, it was just like whoever's having a better game or a better tournament's gonna play. So there's tournaments where I'm not playing as much as I want to.
Correct.
Especially at the beginning, because I'm not hitting shots and he is. And then like as the season goes on, it's like maybe he's not hitting shots, now I'm hot, so now I'm hitting shots. So it's just like stuff like that. But like I remember by the time the season ended, like my minutes were where I wanted them to be, and that goes back to like what I learned like in the season prior with the 6th grade team, like with the A team. It's like defensively, it's like I can't control if I make or miss shots, but it's like defensively, if I give it my all, then I'm gonna play.
Correct. So when did you make that transition? Because like T and I, you know, we asked Khalil, we asked, you know, Noah, we asked Caleb. Like when did you make that transition that, you know, you wanted more? You know, you wanted more.
It was right after that season when Nova 94 ended. We had that summer league, and he was still with the Chantilly team, and he asked me to come play with them. I don't remember what summer league it was.
It was summer. It was the Fairfax County Summer League.
Yeah, it was a Fairfax Summer League. I think
speak
we
on
went,
that, man. I don't speak on that, man.
Well, I think we went 12 and 0, 13 and 0. Sorry, 13 and 0. And that was the first time where like that's like generally like where I picked up my like love for basketball and realized like I can actually like be good at this like if I like put in the effort.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So it's funny because now we playing against Chase.
Yeah, we played against Chase. We played against. I think we played Taj, Chris. We played Chris. They all played on my Nova 94 team just everybody. Like a couple weeks ago.
Correct. So everybody, right? So Saketh comes in and it's funny because I remember the game. He's like, Coach, I don't think we're gonna be able to beat them. I was like, why not? He said, Coach. I said, you playing the 5.
Oh, I remember. You told me about this. Yeah. He told me about this. I remember. I remember that exact conversation.
The 5. He said, what? I said, they can't guard you. He said, what do you mean? I said, they sit in zone, just shoot it. I said, I haven't seen you miss. And he goes, from anywhere, pull up. Green light.
Yo,
right? So he had green light, right? Yeah. So that was the transition. So we went 13-0 that year, right? So now we getting into the actual fall, right? So the fall, we actually ready. Now you ready to play fall and winter. You ready to play travel. So you preparing for travel, right? So that's when we was really training. So speak on it because what we do is we do develop, right? But at that age, 7th grade, 6th grade, going into the 7th grade, knowing that now you have to be able to. You getting taller, you're getting stronger, you're getting faster, and you came in and you was like, Coach, something's wrong with my shot, right? So
I still remember it, and I know exactly the change you told me to make too.
Yeah, so it's like those are the things that we do, right? So it's different tweaks and things in your game or anybody's game that we're trying to help, right? So, and I using you as an example, you made that switch and you ran with it that entire year.
That summer after 6th grade was when I think that flipped like completely away. That switch like completely flipped.
Yep.
And like I think I looked back after that. I remember like in that 7th grade season, we ended up as the 4 seed and we had one all-league player. Like this was on the A team, but I felt like I was at that level. Like I was looking at all these all-league guys, but it's like when we like match up with them, like team versus team, it's like I'm outplaying them. So it's like, why am I not getting my recognition? Mm-hmm. But it's like that's when I was like, I can play. Like if I can play with these guys at this level, then I was like, I can do it.
And that's when you was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what Yep.
So and you had that, right? So then you switch over before we get into your high school, right? But now you going into that 7th grade, going to 8th grade summer, right? Now we really traveling.
Yeah.
Right now, like we play AAU. By the way, that's when I made the switch. So Saketh ended up coming over.
That 7th grade.
Right, so my 7th grade team, man, it's funny because I actually keep the picture.
It's right here.
Down here somewhere. Nah, that's not.
That's
my. So pick it up. It's a picture down here somewhere. You see right there. Like pick that one up right there. That's not it, but that's 9th grade. But that's kind of the same team, right? You probably don't see it, but
you can see it.
You can see the guys in this pictures where they made the transition from 7th grade all the way up. I'm trying to find that picture, man. It's funny. It's pretty much the same core guys, right? And everybody in there, wanted something more, and they was all dual sport athletes, right? They played another sport, right? So you can put it back down, man. I just wanted I wanted people to know that I keep that stuff in here because those are the memories that we make, But now you make that switch, right? We go down to Richmond, right? And it's funny because you're gonna hear me speak a lot on some of the people that's in here because I've been around a lot of these guys a lot. You gonna hear TB when he jumps in, he knows because he's been around me and then he's been around them a lot a lot as well. So he's gonna be able to navigate a lot of things as well. But like TB knows how I was always talking about you, right?
Bro, I used to hear about Saketh all the time, bro. It was to the point where I know we're jumping ahead in the story a little bit, but Saketh's a shooter. Like, he's a shooter. I used to be talking trash to him when he was in the gym. I used to be like, I'm a better shooter than you. I used to do it to you and your brother.
That was one of the first times I met TV.
Yeah, I was talking trash. Like, he had nothing else. I'm just talking trash. I do it to your little brother, too. Hershey. Shout out Hershey.
Shout out Hershey.
Hope he'll be on here one time.
Yeah. Bro, yo. But, nah, it was to the point where I was like, man, this dude shoots. Like, he was telling me, he just gassed me up. He said, he's a shooter. And I used to watch you. I'm like, nah, he can shoot. and I always talk trash to people that I know are better than me, so that way, you know, I can get there.
Yeah.
And I remember one time we were at Mason, you were training at Mason, and I ran track. I was running track at the time, and I had my teammate Evander. You remember that? And I was talking, bro. I was talking so much trash to Evander. Oh wait, what grade were you in that?
It was only going to the 9th grade.
That was 9th grade. Bro, he was going to the 9th grade.
grade.
And Evander, like, how, he's like 6'5", 6'3", something like that.
But he was like,
but he was built.
Yeah,
he's a grown man. And I was like, nah, like I was like, Evander, this dude's way better than you. Like, he's gonna beat you. Like, he's gonna dog you. And he's in 9th grade. And like, we were playing that game, bro. It was so tough. You played one-on-one.
So they play one-on-one.
Yeah.
But people bet like on the side too. I remember that.
Yeah, there was a bunch. You drew a little crowd in the field house.
So
that was funny.
That's what I'm saying. So like, people don't understand. Like, that's when you knew you was making it competitive, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't easy on you.
No.
You know, but like, TB wasn't easy neither. Like,
Never
even
easy.
you know, big shout outs to Josh Richards, man. Josh Richards is like, he's like a brother to me as well. But Josh Richards is a great guy. But he ended up tapping in and teaching you some fundamentals and developing on your mechanics on how to run and things like that as well, right? And at that time, when what TB said, to piggyback off with TB, when he came and put you up against Evander, that wasn't the first challenge for you. Because before that, I put you up against Bird.
Yeah.
Bird used to run for me, right?
I forgot
Right?
about
Bird. So I put him up against Bird. You know, that was a whole big thing, right? Because you wanted that challenge, right? So give us a little insight, man, on why you was always willing to accept that challenge.
I mean, that's how you gotta get better, in my opinion. Like, they might not like be as skilled as me, but now I'm playing against like taller, bigger guys that are older. Like, they're more mature. Like, physically, they're more mature. Like analytically, like I knew I was smarter. Like, I knew like if I get to my spots, I can beat them. But I gotta figure out ways to get stops like on these bigger guys, and that translates to like AU. Like, now I'm playing like 6'8" guys. I'm like 6'2", and it's like on paper I'm not supposed to be able to stop them, but it's like, why like am I getting stops like here and there on them? And that comes from like accepting these challenges. That brings up another story. Don't want to throw my cousin under the bus, but my cousin's a big guy, and I think it was 9th grade, and he's a hell of a hooper too.
Yep.
I think it was 9th grade. We used to play ones but I wouldn't want to play him because he would always bust my ass like all the time. And then 9th grade in the field house, Coach Mike made me play him, and I beat him twice. I don't know like how I beat him, but like it was because of this rule. We play one shot, but every time I play with my cousin, he just takes me to the post, and if he keeps missing, he'll get it and keep going back up. But we play with one shot. I just gotta get one stop, and then if I like, as long as I stay hot and score the basketball, then I'm fine.
I got that rule, like no lie, from Lamar Butler, man. Lamar Butler, man, that's my guy, man, over at George Mason. Big shout outs to Lamar. He just became the developmental coach over at George Mason, right, with the new coaching staff they have over there, right. So with Lamar Butler, man, like one of the guys, man, like he was just like, nah, man, I'm not chasing people around. If you want to be a shooter, you think you're really good at sports, you think you're really good at this game, you got one possession at a time, right? Not you shoot a shot, long shot, and you just run and I'll hustle me, because in a real game, it doesn't always happen like that. You take one shot, contested, you got 4 other people. You got 8 other people, but 4 people really trying to get those boards so you'll get the second possession. And Lamar was like, nah, one shot. One shot. You know what I mean? Which, before we go to the next person that coached you, which now we go into this whole year, now we're going into your 9th grade year. Yeah. Right? You're going into your 9th grade year summer, right? The 9th grade year summer was a really, 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 I made it as difficult as possible for you guys, right? Yeah. And that's when I was picking TB's brain. I was like, yo, look, mechanics, I'm going to bring them into the track. That's what TB, and TB, like, go ahead and navigate this with TB, because I brought them in there, all you guys in there, the whole summer. The whole summer.
Yeah.
TB was at the field house.
Yeah, we was in the field house. I was making y'all run. Remember, we was making you run 200.
200.
Bro, I was making y'all.
We had the Indian runs.
Yeah, where you had to, like, you started in the back and you had to get to the front. Bro, man, I had y'all running. Because, again, like, me being in track, that base, if you can be quick, if you can get that base, that track speed, those kinds of things, it just transitions.
Yeah, correct.
And like that's the thing. Again, like, everybody that we bring in here, like, you started off not being super confident in yourself, but you were super analytical. Yeah. Then you realize, oh wait, I can do this. Still analytical, but now you're working hard. And so that summer was crazy. But the thing is, like, you guys could have backed down from it, but you all bought in. Once y'all checked in, man, sky's the limit. And so that summer was crazy, because y'all were working.
Yeah.
Bro. Like,
so that summer, like, when I brought them in there, we had a goal. Right. We had a goal. We was like, hey, we're going back to Myrtle Beach. Right. Nobody knew. They didn't know it was my last year coaching them. Yeah. None of them knew. And I was like, none of them knew. That's when, at the time, like, Noah spoke about it on his podcast. Noah was digging, ready to go into his freshman year for football. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I got to find the right time to make sure that I make this switch. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up making the switch. You know what I mean? So, but I coached him his freshman year, right? But they going in now, they going into their sophomore year. I'm like, I got to make that switch for these guys, right? Yeah. So we go down to Myrtle Beach, right? We the best team down there. We felt it. We felt we was the best team.
Yeah.
And
no, I'm not gonna say we're the best team. I feel like we had the best 8, like best 8 guys, like the best, like the top 8 guys. I feel like we're the top like 8 guys. Like
but as a coach, I'm gonna say they had the best team, right? Because what I mean by the best team, and some people might take it a different way. Yeah. I thought we was the best at each position, right? And you're right. So our backups wasn't as strong as our starters. Now, big shout outs to Joe, Stupak, and then Clark Castleberry, those two, and Logan, and those 3 really, really like dived in and stepped up to like figure it out.
They accepted their role.
They accepted it. They accepted their role, and then during that tournament, that run, everybody stepped up. We was playing against a team from Georgia, top team from Georgia, right? And y'all was playing terrible, right? Y'all was playing completely terrible. I took all 5 starters and I set them down, right? I said, hey man, look, y'all got to get y'all stuff together. But I looked at the backups. I said, if y'all want to play, this is your time. They went out there and competed, kept us got us back in the game. Boom,
they actually cut the lead.
Cut the lead down. Boom. Now we're down to 6. Saketh comes over here. This is how smart he was. He said, Coach, this is what he said. He said, put Clark in the game. You want Clark? Clark and Joe, put him in the game. I said, we want that. So speak on that, like how like the flexibility, that I gave. I was able to trust in you, because I haven't spoken on like me coaching you and stuff like that, because I get deep into that. But speak on like why you think that you had that type of flexibility, that freedom to do that.
Well, first off, like you gave me that freedom, like to start off, because I'm the one playing, so like I can see stuff on the court that you might not see, but then you're on the sideline, so you might see stuff like happening on the sideline that I might not see on the court. Once we can like put those 2 together, then we can figure out like what we need to do to put us at like the best spot to win the game.
Player coach.
Say it again, man. Just say it one more time, man.
Yeah, player coach.
Just say it one more time, man. Like we have to be on the same page, right?
You got to trust your coach. If the coach doesn't trust the players, then it's like, what's the point?
And we give you freedom, right?
Yeah.
So if you are doing your responsibility, your job, right, and if you put the team first, like every individual want to take every shot. Yeah. But once you realize like I'm gonna take this good shot and get a great shot. I'm not gonna make this rush pass. I'm gonna try to make the best pass, right? And you figure that out, right? So once you figure it out, and then it gets going over. Now we end up actually losing in the semifinals to the team that actually won it, the Fairfax Cowboys. They had some guys. That was a
tough game.
Tough game, man. We end up losing.
That's probably one of the most like fun games.
It was. But that's what it is. That talent, right? That's what we wanted to play against every year, And then we get into your sophomore year.
Those Fairfax Cowboys was the same team that our travel team beat in the championship in 8th grade. Their core was the same core.
Same exact team. But it's funny because your team,
our team was way worse.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but your team, your travel team was better than our AAU team.
Like the players wise, it was better. Team wise, I felt like our 9th grade team, like people accepted the roles better. Yeah. But like just talent wise, the 8th grade team was way.
It was way better because everybody knew what they had to do, and you know how it is when AAU is different, man. Yeah. The level of play is different. Speed, everything is different.
It's not like sets.
Correct. It ain't no sets. So which lead now into I'm not coaching you. That was one of the toughest things I had to say to you. That I wasn't going to coach you going into your, I still remember that sophomore year. And I said, but look, every step of the way, I'm there with you, right? So, which shouts out to the next person that like I said, this the transition that we making and the connection. He was with Nova 94 first. He went to Chantilly
for 3 years.
But we ended up switching to Chantilly. Then it was Chantilly Elite. Then it was CYA Team None. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I made that switch to let everybody know that Team None's coming, right? Second to None is coming. Right, so made that switch. Right now he's going over the sophomore year. Now, Saketh did one of the craziest things ever. Right, everybody told him he needs to put on weight. Right, he needs to put on weight. He needs to put on weight. So he's going into his junior before he gets to his junior year. So that summer to play at U, Saketh weighs 100. He weighs 195, almost 200 pounds, and got slow. So speak on what put you in that mindset that I got to get bigger, I got to get stronger, I got to get faster. But you didn't get faster, you got bigger and stronger. Yeah. But speak on that though, man.
Well, in my head, like if I wanted to play like at the college level, I had to put on weight. I'm not saying I put on weight the right way. If I could go back and do it again, I would definitely do it like a lot differently. But with me putting on that weight, it took like a lot from my game. But also like like I said, analytically, it helped me because I realized that I was like, I'm better like when I'm light. You know what I mean? Like if I'm like lean and light versus like big and bulky, like my game like resembles when I'm like lean and light. Like that's when I feel like I'm at my best.
So
it's a learning experience. Like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
And that's like with track, right? It's, you know, you
Same
got
thing.
some guys that got it's muscle, right? But if those guys are like 230 trying to run, that muscles get heavy, right? So that's why TB, he'll tell you. But it was some guys that knew how to tote that weight.
Yeah.
You know, these freak of natures now are crazy.
Yeah.
They
Well,
know
some
how to
people
tote that
carry it.
weight.
Like me, like I weighed 10 pounds more than I did in high school, in college. But I knew my body. I knew my weight. Just like you. Like, you got to figure that out. You figure that out. Especially, too, because I can only imagine, like, when you're growing, like, you probably grew crazy fast. Right. And so when you're transitioning into that, you're like, man, you don't even know how your body's working. And so then, you know, eventually now, you know, getting to high school, you're like, all right, cool. Like, I know how my body's going now. And then you put on that weight. You realize, shoot, that's not going to work for me. And then you made the switch again, right? You leaned up. You got tough again.
It was crazy because that summer, man, probably was one of the most other challenging summers that spring and summer that he had because, you know, big shout outs to John Vaughn, man, JV, man, one of them other guys, man, that went to George Mason. Like my connection with George Mason is crazy, man. Yeah. But those guys, man, we all like brothers, right? But now I got the connection now. You actually get the opportunity to go try out and then you make the team. Now, that team to me was a great team. Right? It was a great team. Once again, you back playing with Chase again, right? Not Chase, Todd. You had Chris. You had everybody on that team that wasn't selfish. Yeah. You know, but they knew what they had to do to be able to beat the best teams. And I think Vaughn, Coach JV, was doing a crazy job of just giving y'all the freedom, right? Every time Saketh shot the ball or Chris shot the ball or Chase shot the ball, Taj, he was like, bang, bang, right? Bang, bang. So he felt that confidence and he tried to build that in them, right? Yeah. So, but what were some of the challenges that you had and some of the perks as well that you had, me not coaching you no more, you know, and going back to play for Coach Vaughn?
Well, that 10th grade team, I would say, was way more talented than like the last 3 years of the teams I played on. But I feel like we knew, like, as a team, like, how good we could be if everyone bought in. But I feel like we wanted to buy in. But if things weren't going our way, we would all just try to do stuff ourselves. Gotcha. And as soon as it got to that point, everything would just fall apart. And, like, me included, too. Yeah. It's like when I start seeing someone else, like, sometimes, like, take too many shots. Or if, like, now we're down 15 and someone's shooting us out the game. And it's like now, like, I'm shooting us out the game. It just snowballs down. Yeah. So but it's like talent-wise, like, we could have beat almost anyone. Yeah. Anyone we played.
And that's crazy. So now it leads into you made the switch. You went over to PVI. Mm-hmm. You know,
that was before.
I know, but I'm saying you went over to PVI, but you was going back to your regular school. So during that same time, you was over at PVI, right? PVI is, you know, known for basketball in this area, and like that's some
we talked about that in the last podcast with Khalil.
So, so PVI, Saketh was over there, man. Mm-hmm. He was over there seeing the talent that was in through that doors, and he was like, "I want this, I want this." And then before we get you back over to Chantilly, you know, when you got there, you knew what you had to do, right?
I didn't know what I had to do because I don't think I really understood the level of play like at that varsity level until I'm out there like in the moment like running with these guys. And at first, I'll never like be scared to admit it. Like I did not feel like I could play at that level, but I had to find a way to separate myself and give myself like a chance to play at that level. So I'd wake up like I remember at the beginning because I played JV then. I remember at the beginning of the JV season I wasn't playing much. Like just like I said with like our Nova 94 team in 6th grade where we had two people at every position. Like now we had 3 that could all like do the same thing. So I had to figure out a way to separate myself. So I'd always ask Coach Lyons, like rest in peace. He passed away a couple of years ago. But I always ask him like, what can I do to like separate myself? And he'd be like, yeah, he's like, you can come get shots with me like at 6 p.m. Then I would go like get on the gun with him a couple times. And then like now the varsity coaches are in there seeing me. And then Coach Curtis, one of the assistants on the varsity team, he's like, yeah, he's like, you can come work out with the varsity guys at 6 a.m. And like keep in mind, like I'm still not playing like a ton of minutes. But by the time we got to winter break, my 10th grade year, like that, like another like flip, like switch. Like that's when I can play at this level and I can stay at this level.
Correct.
And then come March, I get pulled up to the varsity team. And I remember that first practice, like that was my first real practice with the varsity team. My cramps were so bad. Like my dad had to like carry me into the car. Like that was a different level of like intense. Like,
so what made it different though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you know that every kid that was on that varsity team was preparing themselves for college, right?
To be honest, to play at that D1 level.
You get what I'm saying? They weren't trying to go D3,
No.
D2. They wanted a D1.
Yeah.
And you had to put your body through whatever it was to be able to play at, right? So when you got there, the opportunity came, you tried, right? So which is now we make that whole switch. Now you back over at Chantilly in your junior year, right? How difficult was that?
I think the most difficult thing, like in my head, because I'm looking at this from an analytical point of view, it's like with the way I play the game, I feel like I'm a lot better when it's faster.
Correct.
And then when you go back, it's like PVI plays with shot clocks, and it's like even at JUGO, you play with a shot clock, so it's more of like this NBA type setting, college type setting. And then you go back to Chantilly, and it's like 2 minutes. Like you might go 2 minutes without like a shot being taken. Like it might be like crazy. 2 turnovers. Like the talent difference is a lot. But the thing is, it's like knowing myself, I play better when I'm with people around me that are better.
Yeah, of course.
I got you. So it's the speed of the game.
The speed is the
right?
biggest
the IQ,
thing for me. Yeah.
Right? The IQ and just, you know, the coaching, right? So I mean, you at that level at PVI, the coaching is better.
Yeah.
You know,
it's college level.
It's
coaching.
college level.
Yeah, of course.
To get there, right? So, which now, you know, gets into we're gonna get into one of the most difficult parts for me. After that, you know, you got in there your junior year. You weren't playing a lot like you wanted to because you left for school to come back to a school. So then you get in there and you're back and playing, right? So you get in there, you get some games. You know, you're trying to get up under yourself, and then you're like, Coach, I'm just too heavy. I say, hey man, you know, as soon as the season's over, we got to grind. And that's what says one of the difficult times for me because now you playing on two different teams. Now you're going playing for Coach Carmichael, right? AAU, right? Was it New World at the time?
It was New World.
New World at the time, right? So and then you make that switch, right? Now that's more talent. Right, so now you got that talent. Now speak on that because now you're trying to do too. Because you was like, Coach, I need film, right? So speak on that.
So that New World team, we had a lot of guys that could play, but like everyone's trying to play at the college level. Everyone's playing like selfish, like, and that just like in a team aspect, especially with me being like a shooter, it's like sometimes I got to rely on my teammates to like get me open, and I like my job is to make the shots, but they got to get me open. But now it's like. They get into the paint, my guy helps. They double off me, and they won't kick it out. But it's like I'm wide open in the corner for three.
Gotcha.
And it's like if I'm not getting those shots, then it's like what can I do? It's like defensively, like I'm giving it my all. Like I'm rebounding, like, but it's not like my game to like try to create for other people. It's like it's always been like create for me, like.
But you knew you was a catch and shoot guy off of screens. You know the curls.
The plays were run to me. It's just like if dudes don't want to pass the ball. It's like,
you was open a lot. You know what I mean? So which led into. You know, he said, Coach, I need to play, right? I need some film because I'm trying to go to college. I got a couple of colleges looking at me and stuff like that. We want to go play. So I end up coaching a game. And I said it's the most difficult thing for me because I still think about it to this day. He gets into the game before he gets in, he's doing everything he can. Boom. Then he ended up tweaking his knee a little bit.
That.
He tweaked his knee a little bit. Then he said, took himself out of the game.
Yep.
Like
I remember that.
Straight took himself out of the game. And I was like, he said, Coach, I'm done. I'm not trying to get hurt. I was like, cool, man. Like, you're done. Minute and a half later, we down 4.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. He checks himself back in the game.
I didn't even.
He didn't tell me.
I literally walked right by.
Didn't even tell me.
He
He didn't even tell me. Checks up again. Come back in, hit a 3. Right? Boom. Now the game's on the line. We down 1. Right? We get the ball back. He attacks baseline. Gets fouled. They didn't call it. We'll lose the game. Right? So now after that, I look at him. I said, yo, you're not playing next game. He said, Coach, you can't tell me I can't play. So now I want you to be able to explain the other steps. You know what I mean? Other part of the story. So I don't get all emotional. Right. You know what I'm saying?
we had a game like 2 hours after that, and I was warming up, and I honestly like my knee felt fine. And the game starts, and I think I make my first 3 or 4 threes like out the gate. So like we jump out to a lead, and there's like we're like 4 or 5 minutes into the game, like no timeouts have been called, and I get a rebound. And I look up the court, and there's only like 2 guys to beat. So I'm like, okay, like I can try to split this. So I get the rebound. I try going coast to coast, and I try to Euro step, and I step on someone's foot, and my like ankle rolls, and my knee pops. But the thing is, it's like as I'm coming up the court, I hear him like on the sideline saying like, slow down. And then
So the reason why I'm saying slow down, that wasn't Saketh's game.
Yeah, my game was never
his game.
I was always under control, like.
But he's seen something, right? And this is the one thing that I want the young guys to know. It's called heat check moments in basketball. He came down. When you hit 4 threes in a row to start the game off, like this is the film that the coaches want to see. But one of the things the coaches want to see too is if you can do more than just shoot. So now Saketh went up and grabbed that rebound. And when he grabbed the rebound in my head, I'm like, kick it. Because normally Saketh to kick it up in transition.
I'll kick it and get to my spots.
He went in transition, T. He gets up there, boom. Gets hurt, like he said. Kid bumped him, falls down. He looks at me. I heard it pop. And I was just like, can you stand up and walk off? Just, you know? Mm-hmm. He said, yeah, I think I can. And then I was like, boom. Then he sat down. He said, I think I'm fine, though. I knew he was done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at that time, injuries can be something that can really, really change it all over, you know, because we're going to end up, you know, not holding you too much longer because we're going to get into that right there, you know, took that love, like, you know, away from you for 6-7 months. Mm-hmm. So speak on how that injury, like, really kind of, like, put you in, like, in a different space, man.
Well, it happened I still remember the day. It was May 5th. And so I had to wait till June 25th to get my surgery. Mm-hmm. So, like, I did the math. Like I said, I'm an analytical person. And, like, realistically, like, that keeps me out, like, 9 months to a year. And that means I missed my whole senior year. So, it's, like, part of me felt like I was like, oh, like, what if I come back in 6 months? But, like, as I'm going through, like, rehab and stuff, I'm like, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, it's, like, accepting that, like, I wouldn't be able to play. Like, I still had offers to play, but I was like, do I really want to, like, do this again? So, like, I had to make a decision, like, am I going to school for school or am I, like, going to, like, try to keep doing this?
And that's the toughest thing.
And that was one of the toughest decisions.
Yeah, that's the toughest thing you got to make because now you feeling like you letting people down.
Yeah. Right?
And I always say you never let someone down when you give it everything you got. Mm-hmm. You never let somebody down. It doesn't. And somebody say you let me down. If you gave it everything you got, even if you didn't let nobody down, you know what I mean? No. I still think about the player every day. I tell you that, right? Because injuries is a big part of every game. Every game you play. But now we tap into it. You know, you going over Virginia Tech. You know, you've been there. You know what I'm saying? And while you at Virginia Tech, you're starting to find the love for basketball and stuff again, right?
Well, like you said, like 6-7 months, like my love was gone. If you want me to be honest, it was probably more like a year and a half to 2 years where I didn't like. I would play basketball, but I was like, I don't want to be here. Like I'm just like playing pickup with my friends. It's like I don't want to be here.
So, because you felt that team aspect just wasn't there. Yeah, it was just friends, right?
Yeah, it was just friends. I was like, I'm playing with guys that like I'm like I can play at a better level. Like I know I can, but it's like I don't want to do it. It's not fun.
I mean, it's not. But you was a ball player. You know what I mean? Like our relationship is crazy, man. Like you know what I mean? But you know, we trying to speak on who you are. You know, like but this is the thing that makes it different for you because I always brag about you even if you're not playing, you know. Even when you were playing, I bragged. Even when you're not playing, I still brag, right? I still tell people right now, I can take him in the gym, he still outshoot anybody. Anybody. That's just how I feel, right? And I'm always gonna feel like that. Yeah. So and I looked at her this next journey because now I coach club basketball at George Mason. I coached it at George Mason. I don't coach it at George Mason no more at the time, but I think that that you felt another opportunity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's going to be like the last little thing we talk to you about because we don't want to hold you up too much longer because you done a heck of a job, letting us, breaking everything down for us. But let us know, man, that next journey, man, like you going back to school in the fall, man, like what's the next things for you, man?
Well, I'm trying out for the club team. I think tryouts are in September, so like I gotta like physically like get into shape, like put on some size. Like as I said before, I know how my body works now. Like I just need some like lean muscle mass. Mm-hmm. Conditioning is definitely something I have to work on. So like I got him for that. Maybe you could help me with that.
I'll be around. 100%.
But yeah, but like I'm like there's a lot of guys like on the club team at Tech that I feel like I'm better than. But there's some dogs out there that I feel like could have walked onto the actual Tech team. But like looking back at it, I wish I played last year. But like to me, school always comes first. So I generally just didn't feel like I had time to play.
Gotcha.
But like now, like I'm done with that year. So it's like coming up into this year, it's like my class load's like a lot less.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to play club, but I'm not looking to like just play. Like I want to like be like one of the main guys like on the team.
And that's where you got to go and you got to dig, right? So it leads back to your. It always
comes back to the roots.
Always go back to the roots, man. Always go back to the roots, and that's the thing that how we gonna end up like spending it, man. Like you stay grounded, man. You stay connected to who you really are, you know. And I think that's something that's gonna lead and put you in a better headspace and a better athletic space and just in a better person space anyway. You know, that's who we are, you know. And I'm proud to be a part of that journey, man. Like, you know, we probably can.
Glad to have you part of this.
Man, look, I mean, everybody out here know that. Like, I always say Saketh is like my son, man, because I have all daughters, right? And he's been right there with me, you know, for the past 13 plus years, you know. And he's been like a son to me. You know, I pick him up from school. We work out. I take him home. Everything, man. His family, man, are family to me. They allowed me to do whatever it was to help this young man out. And I put him in the hands of Coach Tyler as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? One of the things that, you know, we always do on the show at the end, man, we try to like let you, you know, give somebody, you know, these young athletes out here, or even somebody just looking for some advice, let them know, you know, what can they expect from you, and what advice can you give to them to keep them going.
Well, my actual dad, this is like my side dad. My actual dad always like preaches like mental strength. Like that's been like a big part of like our family, like since I've been little. But I don't think I really understood that until I met you. Like you with those many challenges. Like there's times where he's made me cry, but it's like I look back at it now that I'm older. I just turned 21 like a month ago. So it's like that mental strength aspect. It's like if you're true to like who you are and you believe in yourself, like you can literally do anything you want.
Yeah.
But it's like if you ever have those like moments where you're doubting yourself, not that self-doubt is a bad thing, but like you got to stay realistic as well.
I got you.
Yeah. No, I preach mentality all the time.
Yeah.
That's my number one thing.
It's a big part. Like it starts, to me, like it starts up here.
Yeah.
Everything else will figure itself out, but it's like it starts in your head.
That's facts.
I mean, TV. You got anything else, TV?
Nah, man. I'm just, I'm glad we had to get to your story, right? Because, a lot of people, again, we talked about this on Khalil's episode as well. Like, you had that season-ending, almost career-ending injury, right? And, your love for basketball kind of dwindled. But, you decided, all right, cool, let me switch focus. I want to focus on school now.
Yeah. And
that's an acceptable thing to do. Like it's the reality, right?
Correct.
Not everybody's going to be healthy all the time. Yeah. Injuries happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I also had a career-ending injury. It was a little bit later in my life, but those kinds of things are really difficult to rebound from. And you've rebounded well, no pun intended. And then and I'm excited to watch you grow, especially if you try for that club team, bro. Like, yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's going to be a journey, man. So, but like to every young athlete out here, don't be afraid to challenge yourself.
100%.
Right? But don't forget where you come from. Understand your roots. And this is what Saketh was trying to tell you guys. Saketh, man, I'm proud to have you on the episode.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother.
You did everything that we expected, man. You gave us everything. And we could have gave it more. But
we can get a part 2 later.
Yeah,
we got to get a part 2.
After you on the club team, big man.
Yeah, the part 2 going to be special, man. You know what I mean? But with that being said, man, like, hey, fellas, man, I want to say thank y'all out there for tuning in to this. As we always end, subscribe, hit that like button. Hey, share with your friends, man. Any shout outs you want to do right now, man?
Anthony, you better hop on this podcast. I'm about to
Nephew.
send you this link. You better hop on this podcast for me, please.
No, hey, he will, man. We're going to get him out there, man. TB, end us out, man. Like
all right,
dope.
Do, all right, I'll see you guys next week. Like he said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Man, catch you next week.
Next week.
All right, peace.
Proud of you, boy.